Hey guys, how's it going? It's Al, week 9 on Draftkings, and I have a cage match, a head-to-head battle with you with the big man himself, the big dog, Evan Silva from Establish the Run, has joined the show right here on twitch.tv to step into the cage, and we're going to play for the big money. We're going to play for $1,000, and we are both playing for No Kid Hungry today, so the loser will donate $1,000 to No Kid Hungry, and all of the ad revenue from this video at the end of the year, we're going to add that up, and all of that is also going to be donated to No Kid Hungry. So whether I win or lose, the kids are going to win, and that's what's most important. As I said, we've got Evan Silva on the show today. I'm going to bring him in just a second. Make sure that you drop a like on the video. Let's see if we can get 10% of the views on this video to turn into likes. And if you're new to the channel, subscribe, ring the notifications bell, leave a reply, let us know who you would have taken first, or if you would take second and two. Which choices you would have taken. Where do you think we were right? Where did you think that we made mistakes in the draft? What would you have done differently? Leave me a comment down below. Let me know what you think. But for the time being, let me bring in Evan. How you doing, big dog?
Smiz, what's up, man?
Not much.
Ready
Why
to
don't
crush
you,
you.
You're gonna crush me in the
crush
cage.
you beneath my hand here.
Well, you're a big man, so like I'm a little scared if you tell me that, especially if you told me in person. I feel like I'm okay now being halfway across the country from you, but next time we see each other, I'm gonna be a little bit nervous.
Absolutely, yeah. Well,
why don't you tell everybody
I just
where they
can't wait to take your money and, well, actually, for you to donate it to the charity.
That's what it's going to be about, man. So why don't you tell everybody where they can find your stuff over at establishtherun.com and where they can find you on Twitter, all your podcasts. You do a ton of work, and I don't want anybody to miss it.
Yeah, I'm at Evan Silva on Twitter. Follow at Establish the Run on Twitter, establishtherun.com.
Fantastic. All right, Evan, you said that you wanted to go first. So why don't you pick first here and let me know who you want and why?
I want Julio.
All right.
No Calvin Ridley. In Calvin Ridley's 3 missed games last year, Julio drew 20, 15, and 13 targets.
That's
absolutely smashed. The Broncos might be without their top corner, AJ Bouye, due to a concussion. Not that AJ Bouye could shut down Julio or anything, but I'll take it. And I also think that Julio is underpriced. He is I like these plays ahead of him, but I think that he can absolutely outscore the 4 receivers that are priced above him on DK this week.
So do you think that he's underpriced because of Ridley, or do you think he's underpriced if Ridley was there?
I think that he is underpriced because his target projection, I think, is higher than anybody on the board. I think that Keenan Allen could compete with him. I think that actually, I don't want to give you ideas. So
fair enough.
Yeah.
A little bit of gamesmanship.
I gave my
on my
explanation. I gave my explanation. I'm sticking to it.
All right. Well, I got second and 2, and then go back to you, and we go to 1 the rest of the way. I'm going to start at running back, and I'm going to take a little bit of a roll of the dice here and go with Justin Jackson from the Los Angeles Chargers playing against the Las Vegas Raiders. The dice roll here is his volume on the ground, right? We've seen him kind of fluctuate between the mid-teens, and then like he got 5 rushes against Jacksonville in a game that they were ahead, or that they ended up winning by 10. Would have loved to see him stay in the mid-teens, but like I think that the fact that it's fluctuated a little bit has kept his price down, as well as the fact that I think DraftKings is pricing up based on touchdowns. So we see players that have a lot of volume but haven't scored touchdowns, see their price stay down until they start to score them, kind of like Keenan Allen, who you mentioned before, who's been at like 6,200. Now they bumped his price a little bit. So I'm going to go with Justin Jackson here because his work in the pass game is great. The Raiders have been bad against the pass as well. I think they're allowing like 9 catches a game to opposing running backs so far this year. So I got a good floor here for 4,900 with the possibility of a ceiling if he can find his way and wander into the end zone. So I'll plug him in there. And then I'm going to go, I'm going to go with another running back here. And it's going to be Dalvin Cook going up against Detroit. I do have to pay for him. He's not a great value play, but I think that I've got enough room and with your Julio pick to allow me to do something here a little bit later in the draft. Dalvin Cook, 5-box running back. He's playing at home. He expects to get 20 touches plus in this game, involved in the passing game, gets the inside the 5 carries, and they're favored. So I will take Dalvin Cook, even though he's coming off like a monstrous game. And so like 25 points is going to seem like a little bit of a letdown if he gets 25 points. I think he is the safest bet to get 25 or 25 plus against this Detroit defense.
Yeah, I love it. He's in another week winning spot. So now I get to take.
You get 1. Where 1's 2? The rest of the way. You go 1, I go 1 the rest of the way.
Well, okay. I will take the best value pick on the board this week, and that is Marcus Johnson playing in place of T.Y. Hilton. Marcus Johnson has shown very good chemistry with Phillip Rivers so far. He is the min price. It's not a great matchup, although the Ravens are without Marlon Humphrey this week, which helps. Although Marlon Humphrey has been playing in the slot, Marcus Johnson playing out wide. But after T.Y. Hilton went down last week, Marcus Johnson played almost 70% of the Colts offensive snaps. I have always thought that Marcus Johnson could play. He's one of these like undrafted players that like can play, except no team has ever invested anything into him. And therefore he has never had like an extended opportunity. Like one thing goes wrong, boom, the team cuts him or whatever. Like you remember the old receiver, Charles Johnson, who just crushed in the XFL and or actually in the AAF. And then Rashad Ross, who also crushed in the AAF. These guys, like these undrafted or super late round pick guys that, just the slightest error, it could just be an injury, an unlucky injury will get them cut because the team has no investment in them. But I think that Marcus Johnson, I like his chances of getting like 5 or 6 targets and maybe ripping a big play or two against the Ravens.
Look, 5 or 6 targets for $3K on DraftKings is absolute money. If he catches 4 of those for 40 yards, you're already essentially at the price expectation that you're looking for. And like you said, if he breaks off a big one, a 40-yard catch, and happens to find the end zone at all, it's a massive win at 3K. So Julio Jones and Marcus Johnson opening up a lot of salary for you. I'm going to come over here. And I don't normally do this, but I'm not going to do it now. I'm going to leave it. I'm going to hope that you leave me this guy. I've been bouncing back and forth between these two guys every single week. I've been fortunate enough to been right the last 2 weeks on picking between my 2 children here. And I'm going to choose one of them with this pick, and it's going to be Tyler Lockett. 1,000 less than his bigger brother, DK Metcalf, 6,800. And I think that it's a Lockett week personally. Russ knows that he has 2 all-world wide receivers that he can use whenever he wants. They're letting him throw the ball as much as he wants, whenever he wants. All that is fantastic. But going up against the Buffalo Bills, they got White and they got Norman on the outside. They've been really tough at stingy at giving up points to wide receivers that line up on the outside. They're kind of middle of the pack against guys that are in the slot in terms of fantasy points per game. Whether that's a tight end lining up in the slot or whether that's an actual slot receiver. Lockett lines up way more in the slot. They do line him up outside as well. I love that they move him around. I do have a worse floor here going with Lockett because we know that he can have 4 or 5 target games, but I think that Russ is going to take the path of least resistance, go against Buffalo in the slot and attack. So give me Lockett at 6,800 here. He's a plug and play for me this week in cash or in
pick. Bills are a slot funnel defense. I think this is a Lockett week as well.
Nice. I like it when I get the Evan Silva stamp of approval on a pick.
Okay.
All right, back to you.
I should have come into this with a better game plan.
I don't know. You got Julio and Marcus Johnson, and chat was just remarking how you were sandbagging before, saying that you weren't ready for this when you're just completely prepared with Marcus Johnson at min salary.
Right. Okay. Oh man. Okay. I'm going to go with Hunter Henry.
Good pick.
He is underpriced based on recent production. I think that he is, we talked about it on this week's AFC team by team show with Levitan and I. I think he is the number 1 buy low player in all of fantasy. His buy is out of the way. He has kind of flukily not reached 40 yards since I think week 2. And he has 1 touchdown on the season. He's always been a good touchdown scorer. I think he mashes with positive touchdown regression in the second half of the year. Herbert is playing so well. I like investing in this offense, period. And I think that Hunter Henry is like just a really good football player. He's playing the Raiders this week. And I think a game that will go over the 52-point total. So that's where I'm going, Hunter Henry.
Fair enough. I like that pick. He's sneak preview. I wrote him up in Best Buys this week as one of the 4 tight ends that I like on the week. There's him and there's one other guy at that position that I think are quite good or quite solid this week. Coming over to my team, or at that price point, that exact price point that I think are very solid this week. Going over to my team, I got 5,000 remaining per player. I've spent already. I've got to find a little bit of value. You took Johnson, who I think is one of the best value plays at wide receiver this week for sure. So I have to find a little bit. There is a running back value on the board, but it's iffy based on the fact that he kind of missed practice today. So it's a little bit scary to take him, knowing that I'm not going to be able to replace him if he is out. Well, you can replace a player if they're out, but there's nobody else at that price point that I would want to plug in. So it's a risk to take him, at least as far as I see right now, in a format like this. So that leaves me looking for another value play. And though it's a little bit thin overall, I think that it gives me kind of what I need here against Tennessee. And that's Darnell Mooney, who I believe since week 4 is third in the league in terms of air yards. You have Tennessee that's given up at least 3 deep completions per game over the last 3 weeks. So they are vulnerable deep. And if the quarterbacks, I hate to say Foles because it could be Trubisky. So if the Chicago quarterbacks can actually hit him deep, if just throw one accurately, he is very likely to rip off a very, very big gain. Now, if they get close to the goal line, they also have allowed a lot of end zone targets, have Tennessee, but those are probably going to go to Allen Robinson. I don't have the money to go and chase him down, but I can't afford Darnell Mooney at 3,900. You big on Mooney, or do you hate Mooney?
No, I've been on Mooney since like pretty early in the season.
Since like April.
It's just that Foles, like every single week,
he misses him
for a monster play.
Well, if he's going to get him, it's going to be against Tennessee's, pass funnel defense. So
no, I think
it's a boomer bust play for me. It's not a really high floor play. But he is getting enough targets on a per game basis, 6, 7, 5, 5, to at least be viable and not kill me. And he's got a really high possible ceiling here. So if he connects, that could be a game winner for me. So coming back to you for one, you have Julio Jones, Johnson, and Henry.
I'm going to take Chase Edmonds.
Nice. Talk to me about him. Everybody's been waiting for Edmonds since Drake has just been filling the spot for the first half of the year.
They're not giving him away. He's 6,800.
No.
But I like the running scheme. I like the fact that he plays with a dual threat quarterback, which, since RG3 and Alfred Morris, we've seen elevates the play of, the efficiency of the running back in the same backfield as the dual threat quarterback. I like to some extent the fact that the Cardinals are fresh coming off their bye. And I like the fact that the Dolphins are a run funnel defense, excellent against the pass, but very beatable on the ground. And I like the fact that Chase Edmonds is a stud in the passing game. I think he's, since week 1, I think he's looked better than Kenyon Drake really in every aspect.
He really has. Like, you're not exaggerating when you say that. Drake has, and I was very wrong on Drake. Based on the way that Drake looked in the second half of last year, I thought he was going to be a monster this year, and they just won't throw him the ball, but they will throw it to Edmonds. So now if Edmonds is going to get 15 carries and 6, 7 targets a game while Drake is out, he's going to be an absolute beast. But like you said, they're not giving away. So this price, I think, is going to hold down the percentage in tournaments, but this is not really a tournament.
Yep. Although we got to throw these in tournaments, don't we?
You can.
Yeah, you can.
We can.
All right, so
there's nothing stopping us. All right, you got Chase Edmonds. Good pick. I like that. I got 5,200 remaining. I need to still find a little bit of value to do the things that I want to do with this lineup. So I don't have to take a tight end, but I'm going to. And my tight end is going to be Hayden Hurst Helmsley, Triple H, for 4,100. Has seen premium underlying statistics. He is 5th in the league in terms of routes runs per dropback. He has 47 targets on the year. You look at his last 3 games, and he's had double-digit Draftkings points after kind of floundering about the first few weeks of the season outside of that game against Dallas, but everybody beats up Dallas, so I don't know if we can really count that, right? He's had some bust games, but you look at the targets: 7, 6 against Carolina, 6 against Green Bay, 8 against Dallas, 5 against Seattle. The volume is there, and the price should probably be somewhat a little bit higher considering the other players that are priced way higher than him. Guys like Ebron, who does not see his volume or run as many routes. Andrews, who sees fantastic upside, but has a ridiculously low floor, as well as TJ Hawkinson, who is basically only targeted in the end zone and nowhere else, is 5,100. So I'll take the discount at 4,100, like you did with with Henry, and I'll take it with Hurst, and we'll see which Double H does better this week.
Yeah, I think that people haven't really realized that Hayden Hurst has emerged as a guy that you start every single week. And now his target projection could rise in the absence of Calvin Ridley. He's a consistent big part of that offense. I'm going to go with James Conner.
I was kind of trying to save him. I was going to take him earlier and I didn't. I love James Conner this week, and he's not popping in projections. So talk to everybody about James Conner.
Well, I was just going to take him. I almost was going to take him over Chase Edmonds, but then Scott Barrett just texted me, take James Conner. So
damn it,
why
Scott,
not?
one man per hand.
The way that the game sets up in terms of game script, with the Steelers are almost 2 touchdown favorites at Jerry World. The Cowboys are just, bottom 5 team at best at this point, have been getting smashed on the ground. James Conner is not really a big playback, but he is consistently seeing at least, a floor of 18 touches. And I think this is a game where he could get up 25, 26, 27 touches. Benny Snell did not touch the ball at all last week, was seen as an early season threat to James Conner's workload. That does not appear to be the case any longer. I think that James Conner is a solid floor, high upside play here. And those are the kind of fantasy plays that I like.
I think it's a good pick. So I'm just going to text Levitan here. Give me 2 seconds. I'm texting Levitan to get a pick because this is very important. By the way, that's your team. We put Connor back on that team. I'm going to do something here that I don't think you're going to go for. Like, I think you could go for it. It's price-wise something you could do. So I'm going to do it because I really, really want this play. So I'm taking DeShaun Watson against Jacksonville, a team that we've picked on with quarterbacks all season long. DeShaun's a beast. He had those 3 bad games at the beginning of the year, and based on like recency bias and players that do well early in the year, people tend to think that they're going to do well the whole year. It's just the way that our brains work. And players that don't do well early in the year, people are very slow to adjust. I don't know if I can trust him. Like, your brain kind of plays tricks on you. You look at the teams that they played the first 3 weeks: at Kansas City, against Baltimore, and at Pittsburgh. A schedule doesn't get tougher than that. But you look at the opponents since then, and Minnesota 23.9, Jacksonville, the first time they played, 29.86, then Tennessee 35 points, and against Green Bay 27. This is more who DeShaun Watson is. And yes, second time through the division, second time they play somebody, it usually matters, but I don't know that it matters when you've got 2 defenses like these two, and the points that they could possibly pile up, and the very possibility with a brand new starter for Jacksonville at quarterback that they could be playing with short fields all day and give him even more touchdown opportunity. Give me DeShaun Watson at 7,100. I know that I can afford this. I love where my team is headed right now, and I think that you're in trouble, Ev.
Yeah, I'm worried. I'm terrified. I'm going to go with Will Fuller.
Okay. The pain pick.
I'm going to try to hedge you a little bit here, try to block you.
This is your guy. This has been your guy since like February.
Oh yeah. I first of all, I think that he has some squeaky wheel appeal here because just the trade rumors were heavy, and I think the Texans did strongly entertain them, which kind of made Will Fuller feel like unwanted. But now they got to feed him, and to get this victory over the Jags, and I think that they will. He's got absolute monster upside. Every single week in play to hit the 100-yard bonus. Every single week I think in play to score 2 or 3 touchdowns even. Hopefully DeShaun Watson throws 3 touchdown passes this week, and they all go
to Will Fuller, and then I feel maximum pain. That would be a problem. I mean, Will Fuller this year, everybody is, again, people fixated on week 2 against Baltimore. You take that week out, he's had at least a 100-yard bonus or a touchdown in every week this year, and has done both twice in the same week with 100 yards and a touchdown. Absolutely love Will Fuller. I feel like I have to sell him to people every single week, and I don't think I should have to because he's an absolute stud. I'm going to go on the other side. I'm going to take Brandon Cooks to pair up with my my quarterback here. 30 targets in the last 3 games that they've played. The squeaky wheel narrative coming into play after he was the chalk in week 4 against Minnesota and put up a bagel. They said we needed to feed him more targets and get him more involved. He has been shuttling into the slot, which is someplace that Jacksonville is extremely vulnerable. I mean, they're vulnerable everywhere defensively, but like especially in the slot. Yes, Cobb plays a lot in the slot, but Fuller does not go in there, and Cooks does. So if you want to take advantage of that with one of the outside guys, I prefer Cooks at the lower price. I love Fuller for tournaments this week. Either one of them can go off in any week, but I like the floor of targets that I expect to get from Cooks at the price. I have 4,700. I have 9,500 remaining for a defense and a flex. So we'll see where I end up. But coming back to you, you've got a QB, a flex, and a DST.
Yeah, and starting to get a little bit concerned about where my salary is going. So might have to make...
The defense is going to clear a lot up for you. Like a 3K defense puts you at like 6,200 per player.
What about the Steelers defense?
I mean, there's like a point of contention. So one of the best football guys I know, one of the most knowledgeable football guys that I've ever met, and super sharp fantasy guy. Where do you stand on the Steelers D being 1,200 more than like any other defense on the slate? I mean, clearly they're an amazing spot here.
They deserve to be. I mean, they deserve to be. You know,
but it's defense. It's so highly variant.
Yeah, I mean it is. But I also think that they probably have like a floor of around like 9 or 10 points, legitimately. You know, based on how they've scored to date, based on the matchup. You know, I think that.
You think it's appropriate,
and they correlate well with James Conner, who I already.
They really do. You could go the Steelers defense. That would block me from being able to take them.
I know that you're not going to take them, so I'm not going to take them here.
I might take them. You just sold me.
Yeah. No, I think I'm going to take Marvin Jones actually.
Okay. Going after
in my
Galladay's absence.
Yeah. I don't know. I might change him out later, but Marvin Jones, I'm sticking him in.
You got to play this lineup. You can only change them out if they get injured. If they're out by the weekend, it's the only way you can change these guys out.
No, I mean, I don't know if salary comes, push comes to shove at quarterback and defense. But Marvin Jones, no Kenny Galladay. This is the best matchup that the Lions passing game has faced on the season against the Vikings. Stafford went on the COVID list today, didn't he?
You can swap this out if you don't want Jones. Yeah, he's out.
Let's not.
Stafford's out. They're going with Chase.
Yeah, let's not do it.
Chase is 4K, and he's an interesting tournament play this weekend, but I don't think we can take him. I mean, we can take him, but like, he's not really a cash guy. I don't think, at least not at this point. At least I'm not sold yet. I might change my mind by Sunday morning, but I doubt it.
No.
Flex, QB, DST.
Yep. Man, is Chris Carson playing this week?
God, who knows?
He felt pretty close last week.
Yeah, I mean, as tough as he is.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, here's the thing. If you pick Carson and he ends up being out,
I wouldn't pick Carson. I would pick DJ Dallas. I'd pick DJ Dallas. Yeah.
Right. If a player is out, you can swap them out.
Okay. But
like if you picked Carson,
but DJ Dallas isn't going to be out.
That's my point. But if Carson plays, then you have Carson. If Carson's out, you could swap down to DJ Dallas. You can't spend that other money anywhere else, but you could theoretically lock up the Seattle running back by taking the most expensive one. If that's what you're looking to do.
I'm going to go with
it's tough.
Noah Fant. I'm going to go with Noah Fant.
Double
a little bit of a correlation here against Julio. He's cheap. I know. I feel like 2 tight ends here, which I'm playing, is not the best strategy in sort of a cash game. But
they're high volume tight ends though.
Yeah,
and
they
Fant's
are.
like a big play threat. He does have
Right.
big splash ability.
Tight ends have been crushing Atlanta.
Who hasn't been crushing Atlanta?
True. Noah Fant also popping in the buy low model this week.
Okay.
So
Love Herm's writing. I want to be as smart as Herms one day. That's like my goal. I'm never going to achieve that. All right. I'm coming over to my team here. I have a flex and a defense. I'm going to lock up the defense first. And it's going to be the Vikings. At 2,400, going up against Chase Daniel, that leaves me 7,100 for a flex. There's a whole lot of options that I could go with as my flex play with 7,100 and down. So it's not, I don't think that you can really block me. There's 3 guys at 7K and 6,900 that I really, really, really like in this spot. So I'm going to have to decide. So I'm kind of checking it back to you by picking this defense. But I think the Vikings are probably the best low dollar defense on the board now, with the possibility, because Stafford could theoretically come back, right? If he tests negative on Friday and Saturday, there's enough days between now and Sunday that he could theoretically play. But even if he's back, I'm okay with this at 2,400. I'll always roll the dice on a cheap defense. But I do have the upside of playing possibly against Chase Daniel here and locking in one of the higher priced guys that I want in my flex spot. So let's head back over to you for your quarterback or your defense. You can pick both of them here since I can't pick either. So give me your last 2 picks and then I'll finish it up.
I'm going to take Russell Wilson at quarterback because he is right now the best quarterback in the NFL
ever.
Hopefully he throws all of his touchdown passes to DK Metcalf, Greg Olsen, and Freddie Swain.
And not Tyler Lockett.
Right. But yeah, I mean, on a weekly basis, he's got, 4 or 5 touchdown upside, obviously.
Every week.
And Buffalo's defense has been a disappointment for the most part this year. Whenever they don't face Sam Darnold, they have given up good quarterback scores across the board.
Can we not blame this on Darnold? Can we just say when they don't play
I'm
Adam
not blaming
Gase?
it on Darnold.
Can we say when they don't play Adam Gase?
I am not. Yes. Adam Gase deserves all the blame. I mean, the proof is in the pudding with all the players that have left Adam Gase and went on to become perennial all pros.
Tannehill with like the best season of all time in the second half last year.
And then I'm going to go with
3,100 for a D.
Yeah. Cause I got 3,100 for defense. Yeah. I'm going to go with the Titans defense at home against Nick Foles and a Bears offensive line that could be missing all but their left tackle, Charles Leno, and he isn't very good. Their James Daniels went on IR. Their center, Cody Whitehair, was out last week and is tentatively expected to be out this week. His backup, Sam Mustipher, who played well against the Saints last week, he is injured. The right guard, Jermaine Ifedi, he is injured. Bobby Massey, their right tackle, he's on injured reserve. And his backup, Jason Spriggs, is just got the COVID. So, yeah, I want to bet against this Bears offense. Nick Foles, the time is running out. If Mitchell Trubisky didn't have the shoulder injury, then I think that he might be Nick Foles would be in very great danger of being benched during the game for Mitchell Trubisky.
Didn't they bring in Mitch last week as what's his name? Just like a gimmick quarterback for one running play?
Yeah, and he got injured on that play.
Yeah, lovely. Yeah. Not everybody is a gadget player for the Saints. Not everybody. See, like I was saying, this is why I love talking to you, Evan, because you're like, yeah, they have one left tackle who's good, and every single offensive lineman and every backup, where they go to church, what elementary school they went to, and whether or not they liked carrot sticks or celery. The amount of detail that you know about every one of these players, it just makes me laugh. It's so much glee because of how much you enjoy the game of football and how much you know about it. I learn something every single time that I talk to you. I have 7,100 left for my last pick. I'm torn, to be honest with you. A little Natalie Imbruglia here for me, because I really like James Robinson, but I really don't like the quarterback situation that he's got right now, just because it's unknown. But you know whose quarterback situation is not unknown? Keenan Allen. His quarterback situation, very good right now. And every time that he drops back, he's looking for Keenan Allen. Every game that Keenan Allen has been healthy, that Herbert has started, he has had double-digit targets, which is absurd on DraftKings. He has the most targets per game, including that 2-target game where he left in the first half in week 5 against the Saints in the league. That includes every wide receiver since week 2. It's over 10. That includes the 2, bringing it way down. If you take that game out, he's averaging like 12.5 targets a game. It's absolutely ridiculous how much volume Keenan Allen is seeing. He should be about 8,000, maybe 8,200 at wide receiver. If you compare him target wise over that span to everybody else that's in the league, I think I'm still getting a bargain here at 7K. I usually would go with a running back to fill the flex, but if I'm going to get a 10 to 15 target wide receiver against Las Vegas, I feel like I kind of got to do it. I know I have 2 Chargers. I'm totally fine with that. My finishing lineup: Watson, Jackson, Cook, Lockett, Mooney, Cooks. I got the double Cook. Let my lineup cook, please. Hurst, Keenan Allen, and the Vikings D. Your lineup to finish up: Russ Wilson. We're going to let Russ cook, but only to Tyler Lockett. Chase Edmonds, Connor, Julio, Johnson, Fuller, Henry, Fant, and the Titans defense. Evan, thank you for being on the show tonight. I really appreciate it. Thank you for being here. Guys, make sure that you drop a like on the video and click on the next video, which is going to be right here.
He's a legend.